in your embrace, where I am yours. Oh, you are mine. Oh, Jesus, you are mine. You are mine.
that you don't feel love. Those are definitely days that I don't feel love. But I promise you, without a doubt in my mind, without a doubt in my heart, that there is a Father, there's a Heavenly Father, and He loves you more than anything in the world. He created you in His own image. He looks down upon you. He knows the number of hairs on your head. And He loves you more than anything in the world. So if there's ever a day, if there's ever a brief moment that you have any doubt that you are loved, just know that you are. Just know that His grace is never ending. Just know that His forgiveness is never ending. His love is unfading. His love is unchanging. It is more than anything that you can ever imagine in this world. So I just pray that over everybody in this room this morning, that if there is ever a moment, just know that you are loved. You have a Heavenly Father that is amazing, and He loves you. So I just want to sing that chorus just a couple more times, and let me just hear your voices this morning. It's all around. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. I am loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. I am loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. Good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. I am loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. We are loved by you. You're a good, good Father. We are loved by you. You surround me with a melody. You surround me with a song of deliverance from my enemies, till all my fears are gone. 'Cause I'm no longer a slave to fear, 'cause I am a child of God. 'Cause I'm no longer a slave to fear,
And I am surrounded by the arms of the Father. And I am surrounded by songs of deliverance. We've been liberated from our bondage. We're sons and the daughters. They'll sing of I'm no longer slave to fear, no, no, 'cause I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear, 'cause I am a child of God. God, we give you praise, we give you glory. We thank you that, Lord, we don't have to live in fear anymore, God. The places where we've been insecure, where we haven't felt like we deserved anything, Lord. Where we felt like, honestly, just such a loser, God. You came in and you saved us. You rescued us. Thank you, Lord God, for taking us and pulling us out of the snare, out of the trap that we were caught up in, Lord. And now we are free. Now we are rescued. And now we are the true children of God. We are marked by you, Lord. When people see us, they see you. And there's nothing better, Lord God, than knowing that. So we let go of our fears today. And we let you be God. We put our trust in you. We walk on the water. And we thank you and pray in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, so we're going to try something.
Whoa. Can we get the house lights, please? Yeah. I'm getting used to it.
All right, so Carl's going to be over here, and I'm going to be over here. We're going to show you something here, okay? I'm going to give 2 people 5, okay? And then those 2 people, each of you are going to go give 2 more people, okay? And you're going to grab people, and we're going to continue to grab people. We're going to see what happens here.
opportunity.
Hurry. Mr. Carl's getting going. Go get something. Let's go. Spread. Spread. Go. Stand up and we can give you 5.
David.
Stand up and we give you 5. Stand up.
Go back up there and find somebody.
Look at us. Look at this. Look at this. Give me 5.
Go get somebody. Bring him up. Go get
Stay over here on the left side. You're with
Go get
me.
somebody, Jess. Go get somebody. Bring him up. Bring him up.
Look at this.
Come on, they're running too fast. Come on. Go get somebody. Bring him up. Get this guy. Bring him up. Bring him up. Let's bring him up. Bring him up. Come on, flat people. Bring him up here. Bring him up here. My team, the best team. Bring him up here. That's it. It's quality, not quantity. Look at all these people. Stop. Everybody stop. All right. Quiet. Stop where you are, please. Stop, please. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, look at how many people are up here. I just want you to look at this. Look at all these people, okay? All right, go find your seat.
All right, go back. Go back.
Great job, guys. Okay.
The power of Christ compels you.
So, I got to tell you something, Carl, but before I do that, let's just talk about this for a minute. What just happened?
I had quite a few quality people go out there and bring other people into our group.
I like the word that you use, quality. Nice.
That's right.
You know, I have to say that, man, did we spread that real quick, right? I mean, it was moments, right? And we had this whole group up here.
I got to give it to you. You guys work fast. And you work, because you work fast, you did work more than us. But I just really got to emphasize the quality.
Yeah, but I mean, number-wise, we won, right, guys? Oh yeah, we had pretty much everybody up here.
Man, who cares about the numbers? It's the quality. And not to mention, they did have a rather dashing leader.
Carl, I think everybody likes me a little better than you. Let's be honest here. Thank you.
You know what I think? I think it was because you had good quality people. Not so much of a leader, but you had good people out there.
Listen, Carl, okay, I really love you, but I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm glad that it worked. I'm glad that it worked. And my side worked too. They just had the better leader.
Carl, really?
Really?
You're saying I'm not a good leader?
I'm not saying you're not a good leader. I'm saying that I'm funnier.
Come on, no, Carl, are you serious right now? You think you're funnier than me?
I know I'm funnier than you.
Okay, you got some jokes?
How can you tell a joke in
You
math?
got some jokes.
Math jokes,
But
really?
I am funnier.
All right, back.
Deep down in the depths
In
of
computers, if Jesus and Satan were having a computer contest, who would win?
Here he goes.
Jesus, because Jesus saves. Get it? It's a computer joke.
I heard one person laugh.
Computer joke. Tell me a math joke.
Mr. Ryan,
Tell me a math joke.
I don't know any math jokes.
Yeah, I know some math jokes. You know, Jesus was always telling his parabolas. Math joke. It's a math term.
Nice.
See? So who's the funnier? All right.
Yeah.
So, what are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say that I'm better than you, Carl. That's what I'm trying to
You can say that all you want. It's not gonna.
Carl,
Get up. I'm getting a bad math
get
joke.
him. Hold it back, please. Hold it back. I'll get you. I'll get you.
world are you two doing? No, you're missing the point. You are acting like two juveniles right now. Who's funnier? Who's the better leader? Last week you told me I stunk. What is the deal with you two?
I'm ashamed.
Listen, it's not about who's better, who has more, who's funnier, who's wiser. It's about what we can do together to make something happen. It's about togetherness, right? Together, together, together. All about that.
See, that was the problem. We weren't off the sides.
Yeah, it wasn't working right.
All right, so we just saw an example of a couple things, and I just want to talk about this, and then Carl's got a story for us. But first of all, let's talk about the whole multiplication thing that just happened. Okay, now we're gonna pull a little math in here. Okay, the operation of multiplication. Oh, Zane said no. Okay. Quiet down, guys. So here's the thing, though. I want you to notice. I tagged a couple people, right? And then those couple people tagged a couple. And then those people tag. And what we see is that as one person starts, a multitude of people begin, right? It's reaching out. And here's the thing, okay? Some of us think the way we're going to change the world is by, you got to literally get up on some kind of TV show, get up on some kind of news channel, and you have to be able to speak to all of them to change the world. You got to speak to the world to change the world. But the thing is like last week I talked about how you have to change the world around you. That's what we're talking about. And what happened today is we started by just changing a couple people around us. And as you saw, those couple people reached out because they were changed. And it all starts with just loving a couple people, okay? You know, look at Jesus. Jesus had how many disciples, Carl?
12.
He had 12 disciples. Okay, this is the Son of God. And he decides that he's only going to grab 12 people. But here's the thing. It was the smartest decision he could have made. Because, just like we were talking about, Carl, I was talking about quantity, you were talking about quality. I do believe that quality is better, okay? Let me be honest around here, okay? Quality is better because if you truly get in somebody's heart and you change their heart, they're so much more apt to change the world around them as well. A lot of times, and I don't want to dash any big churches or anything like that, but a lot of times when you come into a big church, I was in a big church for a long time. What happens is you go in and you come out, right? And it's just this process. Every Sunday morning you're going in and coming out, but there's no connection. And that's really the whole thing. If I'm all about quantity, like I was this morning, right? That's great. But Jesus wasn't about that. He was about quality. So don't think that you have to have 10 million friends, okay? Don't go on Facebook and try to add as many friends as you can, or Instagram, or whatever you guys use, okay? You don't have to get on there and add as many friends as you can. Just think, how can I find some really good quality friends that are going to be there to support me, and I'm going to be able to support them? And there's something so beautiful about that. The second thing, you can see us bantering up here, right? You can see us fighting. And what we were doing is we were comparing ourselves with each other. Okay, I was saying, well, you know, I can do this and you can't do that. And then Carl comes back, I can do this and you can't do that. And a lot of times, okay, seriously, like raise your hand. How many of you have ever compared yourself to somebody else? Raise your hand. Okay, really everybody, you might not be raising your hand right now, but you have, okay? Some of you maybe have compared yourself to somebody that you look up to, right? It may be a superhero. It may be somebody on TV, right? Or it may just be somebody right around you, and that's a lot of time what happens. You're in class. How many times have you looked over and saw a grade that's better than you, and you got frustrated and you thought, oh man, I want to do that, I should be able to do that. They're not smarter than me. And this is what happens when we begin to compare ourselves to other people. It creates this thing called disunity. okay? If I'm going to compare and I'm going to fight against somebody, right, and I want to be better than them, you think you're going to be able to unite with that person and actually support them and be their friend? Probably not, right? So, here's what you have to understand. Each of us are our own individual people, okay? You are you for a reason. You are not the other person for a reason as well. So, stop comparing and start figuring out who you are, okay? Because I know, like, I've done it. I've done plenty of that, and I waste a lot of my time trying to compare myself to other people and trying to reach or attain the goals that they are achieving right now. But guys, honestly, let me ask you this. Was I created to be another person? No, I was created to be me. And when I start figuring that out, I promise you, you will attract people that you never knew you would attract. And first of all, here's another thing, okay? If I try to be somebody else, you know who you're going to attract? You're going to attract people that like that person that you're trying to be. And then what happens is the people that really should be your friends and support you, they're not attracted to you because you're some other person that you're not supposed to be. So then you get friends that aren't right for you. You have a support system that's not right for you, and then eventually it fails. I know that's crazy, maybe that's a little deep, but I'm just saying, like, be who you are, and that will attract the people that need to be in your life. Okay? So I want to encourage you with that. It's all about being a team. It's all about going together after this and just loving people. Loving them where they're at. Not expecting anything, but just loving.
We're talking about changing the world, making it a better place. We're talking about love. Those two things go hand in hand. You cannot make a change unless there's something that you really care about. Caring, loving. Sometimes we'll tend to lose our focus on what is important and what we should be caring about. The things that we should be loving are the people. It's real easy to get aggravated and frustrated over silly little things and forget that how much God loves me, He also loves these people that we're upset with. I'm going to tell you a little true story here about me. When I was born, I was just a wee little baby. And my mom was a stay-at-home mom. My dad went off to work. And every day when he would come home from work, he'd open the front door to the trailer and he would see there's the crib and I would be in it. And he'd reach in and he'd grab me by the foot and he'd shake it. Say, hey boy. And he'd go on and get his little afternoon beverage. And life would go on. The next day he would come home and open the door, shake my foot and say, hey boy. And get his beverage. And the next day, shake my foot, hey boy, and this would go on. And I would grow up, and I became a kid, and I was a goofy little kid. My dad would love to go fishing, and he would take me fishing. And that was something that I enjoyed. But my dad was also very mechanical. He liked to fix things. And I was not so much. I was like, just give me a hammer and a screwdriver, and I'll make an art project out of it. It won't get fixed. I would tend to take the wheels off my bicycle, and I'd just use a pair of pliers. My dad would say, man, you gotta get a 5/8 wrench. I'm like, 5/8, 1/2, I have no idea what you're talking about. Can't you just do it for me, Dad? And he wanted me to do it. And he'd get frustrated with me because I would still use those pliers to take a nut off. And so he'd get frustrated and he would just leave me in the toy and he'd go get his afternoon beverage. And this would continue on into my young adulthood, my teenage years, when I really started playing music and playing the drums. And if I needed to change something on the drums and I needed a tool, I'd go grab a pair of pliers. And my dad would say, there's a special tool, you've got to use that tool. And of course I wouldn't, and that would frustrate him and he would go off for his afternoon beverage. Then when I became fully grown and was a man and married and had kids of my own, and then my dad wanted to socialize with me. He'd call it, let's go up the street, and I know which place he wanted to take me to, and I didn't want to go there because I don't do that sort of thing. And he would get very upset with me, and he would go off and have his time by himself. And this would escalate, and it kept getting worse and worse and worse. And so finally, we just didn't talk anymore. At one point, we actually had a fight. And he was too drunk and I was too uncoordinated. We never did connect. And I pretty much let him know how much I hated him. Strong word. And he in no short terms let me know how much he hated me, his own son. So life goes on, years go by. My sister moves away. My mom, she's had it with Dad. Dad gets very, very sick. He's got cancer. And it was in his throat because he smoked and drank, did all terrible things to his body. And so now he had major surgery done. And my mom was fed up with him, so she would not take care of him during the recuperation period. My sister was living out of state. There was nobody left except for me, the boy that he hated and who hated him in return. But claiming to be a Christian, there's a verse in the Bible that tells me that I'm supposed to take care of my parents. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, so I do that. He is very old now and very sick, and he needs certain medication around the clock, every 4 hours, even in the middle of the night. He can't sleep. He's in constant pain if he doesn't get his medication. So I have to set my alarm clock to wake up in the middle of the night, drive over to his house, give him his medicine, feed him, go back, try and get a few more hours sleep before I have to take care of my own son and go to work myself, and then come home at lunchtime. A lot. I had to take care of him. I was the only one to do it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't like this guy. He didn't want me to take care of him because he didn't want to see me. He did not like me. He would tell me, he says, "You are not the child I hoped for." So when I would come over, even in the middle of the night, and he would know that he's going to get his pain medicine and he would feel better, he still didn't want me there. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I didn't want to be there. Got to do it. We got to do it. We keep doing the same routine over and over again. And I'm telling you this not because my dad was a horrible dad, because he really wasn't. And I'm not telling you this because I was a wonderful son, because I really wasn't. But what happened, 2 things. First of all, to reference another verse in the Bible, it tells you that when you do nice things to people that don't like you, it really makes them feel. In fact, the Bible says it's almost like pouring hot coals on their heads. Because you're doing this nice thing for me and I don't even like you. But they're doing that. And they're feeling. The other thing is that when you're doing it, even if you're doing it only because you have to, you feel something too. A couple of years go by. I have to move now. I have to change my home. So I'm taking the topper off of the back of my truck so that I can fit all of my furniture in there. So I'm laying down across the bed of the truck and I'm having to use a 5/8" socket wrench to take the topper off. And I see my dad walking by the back of the truck. And so I said to him, "Hey Dad, I got a stuck nut. Can you give me a pair of pliers?" And he reaches in and he shakes my foot and he says, "I love you." And then he died. And that's the only time in my life that my father told me that. And the only reason he told me that was because I loved him. I did something for him. And it changed both of us. Like I said, he wasn't a bad person, and I wasn't a good person. But we both experienced that change. We didn't get on TV, like Mr. Aaron said. We didn't make a movie about our lives. We didn't reach a bazillion people. We reached each other. And we were both changed because of love.
Guys, if there's any reason that we have done what we've done in these devotionals and on these Friday mornings, it's because of this right here. Love breaks down walls that nothing else can. We can fight all day long, and we can try with everything we are to do it. But the only answer is love. Love wins. Love will win. It doesn't win in the beginning sometimes, it doesn't win in the middle. It takes years sometimes for it to win, but it does. And I really believe that. Let's pray this morning. Lord, we thank you for today. God, we don't take these Friday mornings for granted, Lord. We don't take them as something that just we get by, we get through, and move on with the day. Lord, it's a time to reflect, and it's a time to really grow in our understanding of who you are and what you desire of us. Lord, it's not about going to church. It's not about doing religious things, God. It's about having a relationship with you and allowing your love to be poured into us so that we can pour your love out of us. So today, Lord God, just pour it over us, God. Pour it all over us. Pour that love into us, Lord, so that we can change the world around us one single person at a time, one single heart at a time, Lord. Lord, if there's somebody on our heart even right now, Holy Spirit, that you're speaking to us about, that we need to start just really loving on somebody, God, I pray that we would step out and we'd be obedient. And even when it's uncomfortable, like Mr. Carl, Lord God, that we would know that it's worth it and there's a purpose behind it, Lord God. We thank you for today. We pray safety and covering as we go out, and that we just enjoy this day. Have fun. Have fun loving people and just doing the things that we get to do today, Lord God. We thank you and we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.